first ring. 14 years deep, still hasn't won a thing. Alex in the playoffs, can't get past the gate. Matt's got the trophies, his legacy's great. Dave and Matt voting down all the new rules. Dash runs the league like a king with no tools. Cobb to back, L's wearing that crown. New guys just learning, trying not to drown. Millie remote drafting from who knows where. CB, Yago, Taya, Jello J, bring flair. Stu with 2 titles, still hungry for more. But watch out, the tomato king's at the door. Dash calls the shots, runs it like a boss. The metal pelting's coming, gonna sting and toss. Basement boys forever, this league's our pride. Cobb and Dash, take you on a fantasy ride. Hey, this the Cobb and Dash show, better check your stats. Previewing the matchups, breaking down the facts. From draft day drama to those title dreams. We the kings of the basement league, we keep it alive. Cobb and Dash, Cobb and Dash,
Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Cobb and Dash Show. I'm Marcus Dash. Right there is our guy, our co-commish, Ryan Cobb, who will be leaving us tomorrow, and he'll be going to Italy for the next 2 weeks. So I'll be hitting up some of our owners in the league to be my co-host for the next 2 episodes. So you guys aren't Cobb, but, you guys will do all right, I think.
Yeah, we'll see how they do. It's always fun to see new faces on here, and I'm excited to see the nice banter that happens between whatever owner comes on. So,
yeah, I don't know who it's going to be, but I know Taja's already thrown his hat in the ring. I already co-host my betting show, my post-game shows with him, so kind of hoping to have a different person. But hey, if I can get Taja, that's okay. He's number 1 in the league right now, so you know what? He wants a shot. He wants a shot to actually be maybe the face of the league.
Yeah.
So obviously a lot of things happened last week. We had some upsets. Cobb and I, we did our predictions. Cobb and I were both 3-3 on the week. We had different ones too, which is the interesting thing. We had different matchups altogether, but 3-3 on the week for both of us. So yeah, with this week, Taja was the high scorer, so he'll be getting his money for that. And then Alex was our low score, week 1 low score chug, and he actually sent his chug over to me before the episode, so I really appreciate him doing that. So we'll be playing Alex's video right now. It's an exclusive video. No one has seen it yet. Let's see how this works, actually.
All right. What's going on, guys? I'm here. Week 1 didn't go as expected. We got high hopes for week 2. So here we go with a little chug ski. I went to CVS. I didn't have any drinks at my place. I went to CVS. They didn't have, everything was 6-packs. I wanted something individual. The only thing I could find was a beatbox. Not ideal, but here we go. Crack the seal. Let's get a little fruit punch action. Here we go. Jesus. All right. Cheers.
Good swallows.
Oh yeah, dude, that so much sugar. It's also like way more than a normal beer, I'm sure.
I think it is.
Oh, that was terrible. Let's go. Week 2, we're back.
Well, kudos to Alex for getting that in before the our episode here. I've never had a beatbox. Have you ever had a beatbox before?
Never had a beatbox.
Have you heard of them before? I think I've seen them at the store before.
They sound familiar, but yeah.
He said the beatbox, it was a 16.9 ouncer, not a 12, so it was more than your usual your can. So yeah, pretty good for Alex.
Yeah, good job, man.
Yeah, good job. I don't know if that was cold too. I mean, was that in the fridge?
I would hope it was in a fridge. If it was a single, it should have been in the fridge. But
right, yeah. So room temp would be disgusting, but also probably easier to drink and swallow and chug. So obviously Alex was one of the ones that we both got wrong. So I think that was one of the few that we had on the same page last week. We had me and you both picked Alex, and then me and you both picked you over Adam. So those are 2 of the matches we had same last week. We were wrong on that one. We were wrong, right with yours. So when we talk about Alex's, we'll get to Alex a little bit later, but Pretty disappointing, 91. A lot of people thought going into that Monday night matchup, we were going to see either Adam or Hotch be the low score chug, and it ended up being Alex, which, I mean, Alex doesn't really drink usually, so seeing him have to chug is also nice. It makes me feel good to see him do that. So I like the fact that I had to do that. It's like, fantasy's a lot of like randomness, but when you get to make a guy chug, it makes you feel like you did that. Like your defense fucking came to play that week, So with the week one in the books, usually we usually highlight a few key things that happened during week one. What was one of your takeaways from week one? Obviously, we're going to do our Tomato King rankings later, so we'll kind of really tell the whole story of last week. But what was the one thing that really stood out to you last week? That could be NFL wise, that could be fantasy wise.
I mean, low scores. I feel like, I mean, week one usually pretty weird. 3-game preseason, but like looking at the rankings here, I mean, both you and I kind of got a little lucky with the matchups. Not gonna lie, we'll take the wins where we can get them. But we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams score 130 and above, and the rest were 20 points at least below, which that's pretty big separation for a week. That's where it's just a lot of randomness, a lot of stars not really doing much. Yeah, and I think there was some surprise wins. I was trying to go through and see out of my Tomato King rankings, 1, 2, 3, half of them got wins. So that's good. Maybe they took motivation out of it. They got the W's. But and the one of them that didn't get a win was Yags. He got 113 points. He would be both of us. So yeah, matchup is important. But yeah, it was just kind of a weird start to the week. A little pivot, or kind of a little final takeaway was the waivers. But we can talk about that in a little bit. The $91 week one was pretty sweet. Like
what did you make of that move? I got a lot of shit from that move in our chat. What did you make of that move?
I was looking at the waiver wire, and I think he was the most interesting one by far. Like, unless Quentin Johnston, he had a good end of the year last year, but if he completely turns it around, great. That'll be a good steal. But and I mean, I kind of wish I got Keisha Booty, but I didn't have anyone to drop. So thinking back on it, I probably would have dropped someone for him. But I mean, go get your guy. You left enough money to make some bids on IDP people going forward. Hopefully, maybe you're gonna be waking up. I saw your message as soon as the waivers went through, so you'll be able to pick up some people earlier than others. But no, I mean, if he pays off, that's gonna be an awesome kind of told you so. I mean, what Stu? Yeah, Stu had 51 on him, and I think he spent all 100 on his fab in our Dynasty League. So people wanted him.
Dynasty's a little different just because there's no one available in those leagues. That makes sense. For me, the perspective was if they drafted him pretty early, and I remember they drafted him way earlier than a lot of teams projected him to go. A lot of draft experts projected him to go. They just paid Njoku. However, they kind of utilized him in all sorts of ways. I mean, he led the team with 9 targets last week. They had him play fullback. They had him play in the receiver. They had him play in the slot. They had him play the tight end. They kind of had him all over. And if they do make a change from Flacco to one of the rookie quarterbacks love checking down their tight ends, and they have 2 of those guys. They just have a lot of weapons over there, but I like it from the sense of if he does continue this is a guy who we're looking at a team that kept 2 quarterbacks. I didn't really want to keep 2 quarterbacks. I love Baker and I love Mahomes, so naturally I did it. But if I had another option, I would have kept somebody else. And if he is a guy, this is a 19th round dude now. So I mean, I potentially have a guy there with the 19th round spot, and he was one of the more he used to be a receiver, then he went to tight end. So he's one of these kind of hybrid versatile tight ends coming out of Bowling Green. So
yeah, no, I like the move. Also, I need to fact check this because I don't know if I just randomly saw this, or was he born in? Yeah, he was born in Canton, Ohio.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Kind of key. So that's where I didn't know if it was just random hype train shit that people were spewing, but yeah, no, I think it makes a lot of sense. I think people are going a little crazy, but it's also because they're spending more time docking you than they did even evaluating people on the waivers. So there wasn't much I don't think there's going to be much fab going on next week either. Just looking at the names, but
yeah, just looking at the guys who are out there right now. Yeah, it's pretty bare. I mean, I know we talked about it being really deep because everyone uses more receivers now, they use more running backs now, but like because of that, people are holding more like wide receiver 4s and wide receiver 3s in their teams than before. So that's why the waiver wires kind of bare out there. But yeah, if he is a guy, then and also too, Goddard didn't become on the injury report till late yesterday. So like I was like, oh great, I have a tight end now. And Stu's starting the guy I dropped, which is kind of key. That he's starting Chig Okonkwo.
That's key.
I would say my big takeaway from last week, just to get out of this real fast. My biggest takeaway last week, seeing Hotch score below 100. A lot of people were laughing at me, saying I only had him in my bottom 6, my Tomato King rankings, just because I have this rivalry with Hotch, and it kind of came to fruition. And a big takeaway was Travis Hunter, who was a 2nd-round pick. Travis Hunter was, I think, the 3rd or 4th highest scoring DB last week of the teams who had of guys who were owned, not guys who were in free agency, but of DBs that were owned. Wow. Travis Hunter was 3rd or 4th highest scoring DB. So if you're Hotch, you're not really excited about that. Then I'm seeing he's playing more DB this week, so it might take away from his offensive reps. I know you like the fact that the Hotch said, and it's true, you want to keep that DB positional spot available, so that's good. But again, though, you drafted him that high because you thought he was going to get more offensive reps. So not a good start for the Travis Hunter experiment. I know people wanted to ban Travis Hunter from being the wide receiver DB spot. So far, so good on not banning that, I would say. So congratulations, Hotch. Thanks for taking him ahead of Xavier Worthy. Although Xavier Worthy, who knows? He actually might even play this week, which is crazy. Yeah. Nuts.
Worthy might?
Yeah, he practiced today.
Oh, yeah, because he does need surgery. But it's the thing where, like, if he does get hit in a way, he'll probably need surgery, right?
Yeah, like the padding he had like a jersey on, but he also had like I don't know what the fuck he had, but he had some like padding on his shoulder today. So I think it's too early to risk him playing. As a Chiefs fan, I think it's too early to risk him playing. But hey, this guy played one of the seasons he was at Texas. He played the season with a broken hand. As a receiver, he played with a broken hand. So small guy, but still tough son of a bitch. So Hotch is my with Travis Hunter. That was the big key for week 1 for me. That the guy who drafted the earliest IDP didn't really do much. So, all right, now we're gonna get to week 2 preview. Of course, you guys know how it goes. We go through each matchup, and yeah, so we'll begin with the first matchup this week, and that is Adam versus Tasia in a week 2 brawl. I mean, again, I made this point on our in our chat that there's only one matchup that takes place where 2 of the current playoff teams, 2 top 6 teams are playing this week. So only one matchup like that. The rest is 1-0 teams versus 0-1 teams. So we might see some teams go to 2-0. We might see some teams go to, well, I guess there's not only 3 options here. You go 0-2, 2-0, or 1-1. So yeah, I thought it was gonna be a big more of a soundbite there. Not really.
Sorry, it was just for our ears, anyways.
So yeah, Adam Tasia. Okay. You want to do this one first?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I'll start off by one, apologizing to Tasia for I think it was kind of knocking. Like the Fields thing was really what held me back from trusting his team. Tasia stuck to his guns. Was like Fields at least a rushing upside. Will keep him in games, but he looked good. Like I know that Steelers Jets game, no one expected it. Fields looked good, so I'll apologize to Tasia for having that knock, and also congratulate him on the win last week and what we're calling the pivot. I forget the award we were going to give him, but the pivot of the year. Granted, CMC's looking pretty valuable right now, but he could get hurt with all the workload. But Derrick Henry was just a stud. Still don't know how Baltimore lost that game, but Tasia, great start to the year. We'll see if he continues against Adam. Had a little bit of a rougher start. Thankfully, he underscored me somehow, even though I only got 100. But going into this matchup, it's bounce back week for Adam. Taja's just got to keep the keep it going. But Justin Fields versus Dak Prescott, the fact that that's even a conversation is pretty crazy to me. And based off of what Lamar did to Buffalo, I don't know if the Ravens' offense is that good or if Buffalo's defense is a little suspect. And just because of the rushing upside, I think I'm going to go Fields. I think I still like Dak season long. I think once that offense gets clicking a little bit, it's going to be great. But like they didn't do much against the Eagles. I know they have a good or they have a good defense. The Giants, I mean, they're not great, but like it's one of those games where the Cowboys are probably going to control the game and won't need to throw it that much. So I'm going to take Fields there in a game where I think Fields going to have to do a lot on the ground and also throwing. London versus Mike Evans. I mean, Adam's got to be very he's got to be counting his blessings that Drake London wasn't actually seriously injured, because his team could have been completely derailed if he was out for multiple weeks. But it looks like he's going to play. And honestly, like I love the usage there. He didn't have a touchdown last week, right? Yeah, but he had 15 targets, which.
He almost had a touchdown. Remember the one they reviewed? It was the quick slant, like on third and 1 or whatever, at the goal line.
Yeah. But even with the injury, like still got 15 targets. Penix is gonna hyper target him. So that was great to see going against Minnesota. I think their defense is pretty good, but I think hopefully he's actually healthy and isn't going to re-aggravate his injury. But I'll take Drake London over Mike Evans there. Just I don't know. Just because of targets, I don't know. I think Mike Evans was fine last week. I don't know. It was a slow week, but at some point, the Buccaneers offense will maybe click and start firing off a little more. I mean, Mike Evans still did get 8 targets, but Guga looked great. I think he got 2 touchdowns last week.
It is a tough matchup, though.
Yeah. So I'm going Drake London. Derrick Henry versus Ashton Genty. Derrick Henry by far. Genty didn't look like shit against Patriots. Awful. Don't even want to talk about it. Saved his week with a touchdown. But he had 19 attempts for 38 yards. And I don't even think we have that great of a D-line. And that wasn't very promising to see. So again, one of those things where hopefully he picks it up, but I think Derrick Henry far and away should be the winner of that matchup there. McBride versus Kelsey. I'm gonna go McBride there. Looks great. Kelsey kind of saved again. Another guy saved this week with a touchdown. Wasn't really leaned on, but with Worthy out, maybe he'll be targeted a little more. He'll get some of those Hollywood Brown targets. McBride there, especially against Carolina. Carolina looks awful. Chase Brown against James Conner. I don't know. Jacksonville looks trash too. That one's kind of a closer wash, but I'm going to take Chase Brown just because I think he gets a little more receiving work than James Conner does. Yeah. I guess James Conner had 4 receptions and one of those was a touchdown last week, but I'm going to go Chase Brown there slightly. AJ Brown versus Sutton. Sutton, despite Bo Nix looking terrible, still had a great week. AJ Brown had 1 reception. It's one of those games where I think we saw some of it last year where he just kind of disappeared. And, I think Adam was really trying to ship AJ Brown out in the offseason, and what didn't really seem like he wanted to keep him, but ended up having to do it. And then he gets you a 1 in week 1. Probably does not feel great. Give me Sutton. Hopefully for the Broncos, a bounce back game for Nix after looking terrible. RJ Harvey versus Judy. I think Harvey looked really good. I think J.K. Dobbins is still going to be the main rusher over there, but when Harvey got the chances, I think he looked pretty electric. Judy, just a consistent guy. I think him and Tillman were pretty productive for the Browns. I mean, again, it was one of those games where Flacco was actually producing some fantasy value. Kind of weird to say that, but I feel more comfortable with Judy just because I know Cleveland's going to be throwing it a lot. I think eventually Harvey's going to be a great weekly guy, but until that happens, I'm going to stick to what I know. So give me Judy. But yeah, so that's what Fields, Henry, McBride, Sutton, Judy. Yeah, I'm surprised Adam's the favorite here.
So it's because we're still giving Genty the that ridiculous 16.
Yeah.
I don't see that yet.
Yeah. So yeah, give me Tasia. I think it'll be a bounce back week scoring wise for Adam. But Tasia looking great. I think if Fields, this is going to be a really important week just to know if Fields is a guy that you can kind of trust going forward, or if he's just going to go back to stinking, because we've seen that before too. I'll take Tasia here, keep it on the hot streak. Let's do a 129 to like 118.
Ooh, okay. So the line I have for Tasia Adam is 5.5. Tasia minus 5.5. So
Wow.
a touchdown favorite. So there you go. You have a blowout, almost a 2-possession game there. I do agree. I think Justin Fields, also the way Buffalo looked against Lamar last week.
Yeah.
And it's twofold, right? You could say, oh, they game plan for a guy who's very similar to Lamar as far as the running wise. So they already have that kind of extra week of like game plan for a similar type of quarterback like that. So yes, but also Buffalo couldn't do shit against Lamar last week. So Fields could have a field day against the Ravens. Yeah, I wasn't even
There's your soundbite.
Yeah. But overall, though, I like Adam. Adam's got a solid team name wise. But like RJ Harvey, I mean, J.K. Dobbins looked great last week, like you kind of mentioned. Yeah. So like Harvey didn't get that many touches, and it seems like they're still going to work him in slowly. Dobbins still going to get a lot of work. Judy, yeah, they'll be throwing a lot too in the Cleveland game. So
yeah, and Adam does have Charbonnet on the bench.
Is Walker not playing?
No, but it's just like based off of how it looked, like Charbs looked like a better fit for Seattle. So if that comes to fruition, he could have a good shot. I just think he's got it's the team that's going to have to like wait, I think. And hopefully it's not too late.
Yeah, you don't want to get into a hole if you're 0-4, but he's got a lot of pieces. So if he wants to rebuild, I mean, Adam could rebuild in theory. I think AJ Brown, like he made a comment this week. You know, he got one catch last week. He said he's in it for he doesn't want to play for participation trophies, so he wants the rock. Goddard's not playing this week, so there's with AJ Brown, he's very volatile, like as an actual player. So if he doesn't get targets this week and they lose potentially, that whether they win or lose, he'll blow up about it. I see implosion happening over there. So AJ Brown's a tough guy to work at, especially if he gets a week of like a couple of catches. But yeah, Kelsey, I mean, he had that one touchdown last week. They didn't target him that much. So it'll be interesting to see where Adam's team goes here. But I do think Tasia wins. I like Tasia's team top to bottom. The only question I have is Justin Fields, and Fields looks like a beast. What a great call by Tasia to go with Justin Fields, and also to the CMC and the avoiding CMC and then getting Justin Fields, man. Yeah. Tasia did his homework. Tasia was tired of being the butt of not really being a butt of jokes, but more of kind of people laughing at him. And he doesn't even have Rashee Rice yet. That's another thing.
Ooh.
I know.
Yeah.
I hate to see it. But yeah, I have Tasia winning. I'll go Tasia 135 in line for another back-to-back of the high score of the week. 135 to 115. I think Adam's team kind of lays an egg.
Bigger blowout.
Yeah, big time.
Destroyed the line that you said.
I know. Well, I made the lines based on the scores of the I didn't look at the matchups. I just made them based on what the scores were.
Okay.
Protect the scores. So we got Dave versus Jack on the next one. Two boys going at each other. But I will say this. Dave and Jack are not a part of the new owners club together. That's only Jack's staying with ZB, Yags, and Tasia. So that's not Dave's thing. Dave's got his own GOP thing with Cobb, or with Hotch. I mean, sorry. All right, where is it? So, wow, another high scoring projection though. I will say that. Geez, 134 to 129. But the actual line for this game is -2.5. Ooh, -2.5. Jack's the favorite by 2.5 points on this one. Interesting. Okay, so we got Jalen Hurts versus Josh Allen. Great matchup for both teams. The way the Chiefs looked last week was like dog shit. The way the Jets defense looked like last week was dog shit. So we might have two amazing scores in the quarterback department, but Josh Allen, I think, has a bigger ceiling than Jalen Hurts. So I'm going to go Josh Allen. The guy had 300 yards and 4 touchdowns in like 5 minutes last week in the fourth quarter. Unreal. I'm sure Hotch doesn't like to say he regrets trading players, but I get that's one that he definitely regrets because like they have Josh Allen in your lineup every week. It's like, oh God, I'm gonna get like a 40 point. I get a 60 point game from him at any point. So
if you still had Allen, Chase, and CD. Oh,
dude, yeah, and that's not dog and Brock Bowers, but I mean, that's just top three guys in fantasy right there. So Brian Thomas Jr. against Puka Nacua. I will say this: Tennessee, like offensively, was pretty bad, and I want to see like if that was just bad Broncos offense, or if that Tennessee's defense is actually good. So this is a big week for them as far as test wise because they looked pretty damn good last week. Their defense. I know Sutton had a touchdown, but like really, they didn't do much. Broncos offense could not move against them, but again, you're going against the Rams. Different offensive mind there, but Brian Thomas Jr. is coming off a rough week. Didn't really do much. He had a carry for a touchdown, but as far as passing in the receiving game, it wasn't the Brian Thomas Jr. that we saw last year. But I do think at Cincinnati, we saw what Cleveland did. Cleveland just couldn't score. They would move the ball up and down on Cincinnati last week. So I think I like Brian Thomas Jr. over Puka Nacua in this week. And again, I never had Puka before, but Puka, like, dude, that guy is always coming off the field with some kind of injury. And like he comes back on, comes back off. It's like, dude, I would lose my shit if I had him on my team. Do you have Puka in any league?
No, he's a dog though. Yeah, having to get stitches and then going right back in.
But I think it's the same story with him every year. It's like he comes in and out of lineups like all game long. It's like, dude, okay, just sit out, dude. You fucking like, it's annoying. Okay, so I'm going Brian Thomas Jr. there. Achane versus Chuba Hubbard. I got to go with Chuba Hubbard, man. Devon Achane against the Patriots. Patriots run defense. They looked like dog shit to start that game. That first drive, they Jetty had like 2 9-yard carries in a row. I was like, whoa, uh-oh. And then you guys put the clamps on the running game. Passing game's a different story. So they two of them might actually have a decent game this week. Hopefully, I have Jalen Waddle. But as far as shutting down the run, I think the Patriots are going to shut down the run big time. Achane's only hope is getting a lot of checkdowns. That's his only hope in this game. But as far as running the ball, do a 19 projection. Jesus. And then Chuba. I think Chuba's solid, man. I'm going to go Chuba. I think Chuba's going to get you points. Achane's only hope is checkdowns. So I'm going to go reliability. I'm going to go Chuba Hubbard in this one. Man. Kyle Pitts, Zach Ertz. That's a wash. It's really shitty. I'll probably lean slightly Zach Ertz. Just because, I mean, he's a good red zone target. Last week, Laporta actually had a lot of checkdowns in that game. I don't know if it was more gameplay, and the Lions just couldn't do anything, so they just kept checking down the Gibbs and Laporta. But I think Ertz might have a big game tonight against Green Bay. So give me Ertz in that one. Tyreek Hill, T. Higgins. I'll go Tyreek Hill. I think this is more of the shut up. Like, I don't want to hear you talk anymore. I'm going to give you a million targets, so you just shut up and are happy. So I think that's where we're leaning that with Tyreek Hill. So I think Tyreek Hill over T. Higgins. CMC over Emeka. Come on, man. I can't go get Ibuka. That's my guy. I go Ibuka over CMC, and that's pretty crazy to say. I'm going Ibuka over CMC. Actually, no, I'm not going to go Ibuka over CMC. I'm not. That's too much fun. The Niners have you can make two arguments. Niners have no weapons this week, no quarterback, so CMC is going to get extra touches. But defenses can key in on CMC because he's the only thing they have, and they know they're going to want to run the ball. But I have to go CMC just based on volume. I do love Ibuka, though. I'm a huge Ibuka guy. And then Etienne, Debo. Give me Etienne, man. I'm going Jack to win this game. I got Jack minus 2.5-point favorite. I think Jack comes in here despite going against Josh Allen. He's still going to put up a dub. And, yeah, I'm going to go my guy, Jack, Lil J with a dub. Lil J reminded me that I had him in my tomato club last week, and he will not be in the red tomato club this week. So there you go. Cobb, who do you have in this one, buddy?
Fixing the camera. There we go. It's a tough one because I like the top half of Roden a lot, and then you go down, and I like kind of the back half of Jack. What'd you have for the score?
The spread was 2.5. I think I didn't give it a score actually. I would say 126 to 114.
Okay. Damn. Yeah, I mean, it's a close one. I think I'm a little worried about Jack's team just being involved with the Dolphins. Like, yeah, it could be a shut-up game, but it could also be a this team is just doomed kind of week, and you just don't want any piece of that offense, despite how talented A-Chain and Hill are. But then again, you look at his roster. He has McCaffrey, he has ETN, who looks like the guy over there. Hollywood Brown's on his bench. Ja'Cory, Krosky, Merritt. So Jack seems kind of key. I hope the Dolphins thing figures itself out, because he could be dangerous. But I think I'm gonna go Roden here. Just with Josh Allen, Puka. I like T. Higgins over Tyreek Hill just because I think it's going to be another down week for the Dolphins. Because Christian Gonzalez should hopefully lock down Hill, but we'll see. Is he actually? Maybe he's not playing. I don't know.
I don't believe he's playing. I think Vrabel said
He's
yesterday at the press conference he's not playing.
Yeah, fuck. God damn it. I'm trying to be like Pat's Homer here and say fuck the Dolphins. I'm still going to go Roden. I'm going to go 125 to a 121. I think it's going to be a close game. But this time, Roden comes on top.
Wow. Is your camera still not working?
No, it's on for me.
Oh, really? It's
Yeah,
frozen. It's frozen with you with no virtual background. Okay. No.
But now.
Mm-mm. It's still frozen.
Jesus, dude.
You removed yourself and then you came back in, and like the preview part, it shows black down there.
What the hell?
Maybe now, yeah, it's black right now.
Oh, it shows it for me. It's weird.
All right. Okay, well.
I can play around with it for a sec. Can you see the background gone? Like, you can't see my camera at all?
There's nothing. It's just it's a blank space there.
What the hell? All right.
Yeah.
Well,
that's okay. ZB versus Hotch is our next one. Big holy shit, dude. Hotch is a 140 projection this week.
I know. Another top projection. It's ridiculous.
Him losing will be amazing then, so it's great. Hotch, so line for this game, I know it says 140, 128, but the real Vegas odds for this game are Hotch a 2.5-point favorite.
Yeah, this is crazy. I mean, Yahoo, I don't think has updated anything. He's a 59% favorite, and Yahoo is like, he's going to slaughter ZB. But that being said, I still do like some of the pieces. I know he had a really disappointing week, and maybe this is the time that Hotch has his downfall early on, and ZB always, for some reason, I count against him, and he continues to fight back, and he's in third place right now. Had a great week one, but going out the gate, Jaden Daniels versus Kyler Murray. I don't know. I mean, Green Bay's defense pretty good. I want to go Jaden Daniels, but I know Carolina sucks, so I think I'm gonna go Jaden Daniels because just for the name or like the potential there. But it would not surprise me at all if Kyler Murray does better, because again, it's gonna be very telling to see how different the Washington and Green Bay are. The winner of this is gonna be like probably top 2 contender for NFC. And I think if Green Bay can handle Washington this week, they're just gonna be the team to beat in my eyes. But give me Jaden Daniels there. JSN versus Devonta Smith. Give me JSN. I mean, he's the only guy on that offense that they passed to. He got 13 targets, and I think it was something crazy that he had 124 yards receiving, and I think Darnold passed for 150 or something like that. Something ridiculous, but JSN for sure there. We'll see how Jalen Hurts and Philly looks against KC, but Devonta Smith and AJ Brown no-showed. It's very volatile situation over there. So give me JSN. Kamara versus Amari and Hampton. Kamara looked great. Great as in it's what you wanted. You got the touchdown. Hampton not as much. I think again, it's really going to be, we were talking before the show, what are the Chargers offense going to look like? Are they going to be that passing team that everyone thinks they're going to be after week one? Or are they going to go back to running this week? I think that's going to be really interesting to follow. But at this point, I'm going to go Kamara just for the known commodity. And we'll see if, again, another matchup that wouldn't surprise me if Amari and Hampton finishes with more points than Kamara, but I'll go Kamara now. Brock Bowers versus Njoku. Give me Bowers. Again, something we talked about on the show earlier. Hannon it seems like the key tight end to have over in Cleveland. So, if I'm ZB, maybe you should have also gotten him. I don't know. I don't know if you want to double dip tight ends in the Browns. Sounds awful, but you need a tight end. And Njoku, I think he's still talented and everything, but it's going to be kind of disappointing to watch that. But I still do like Bowers in that matchup. I'll probably pick Bowers most times anyways. Chase versus Devonta Adams. Give me Chase. I think Bengals are going to have a bounce back week. I think it was one of those weird weeks. Bengals always start slow. I don't think Jacksonville is that great. I think Carolina was just terrible. So give me Chase there. CeeDee Lamb versus James Cook. What are the injury updates on? Oh, he got a full practice today. Okay. Give me CD there. I don't know, man. They might run it a lot because they should dominate the Jets. Give me CD there. I think that's a close one. Again, it's one of those things. If Buffalo's defense sucks and Justin Fields can do what Lamar Jackson did, which obviously I know is a big claim, it's going to be a shootout. But also, I could also easily see Buffalo stomping the Jets, and then they could just run it with James Cook as much as they want to. But again, give me CD. He had some bad drops last week, and I think he's going to want to make up for that. So they're probably show that everything's good over there in Dallas. And then Kupp versus Zay Flowers. Zay Flowers, another guy, looked great. He was doing whatever he wanted against Buffalo's defense. Kupp, he had 3 targets. 2 receptions, 15 yards. Not great. I don't think you want any part of that Seattle offense other than JSN right now. Even Chubb and Kenneth Walker situation is a little sketchy to deal with. So give me Zay Flowers there. With all that said, I think the Jamar Chase and CD. I'm going to go ZB here. I'm going to go ZB.
Wow.
I'm going to go ZB. I think it was close enough with Jaden and Kyler, and I really like. Yeah, give me ZB just because I keep counting against him, and I need to give the guy a break. And I also I hate seeing that projection by Yahoo, 59% favor. I think it's a little disrespectful. ZB, I'll give 124 to 118 W here.
Just want to see something real fast. So Kyle Hamilton was one of the DBs that outscored Travis Hunter last week.
Yeah, he is. Hodge is the one you got to look at the IDPs for because of Travis Hunter, huh?
Yeah, so I would just say subtract 8 to this score, and then it would be 132 to 128. So that's more normal.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kyle Hamilton was one of the guys who outscored Travis Hunter last week. So we'll see if that happens again. And if that happens again, so that's kind of one of the things I'm going to look at when I look at Hodge's matchups. If the DB, just don't look at anything else in the actual roster. If the DB can outscore Hodge's second round pick on the other person's team, then I think you have a ball game. That's really it for me, honestly. That's kind of that balances it out. It at least balances out the projected score. It'll make things even tighter because they're giving him 15s every week, which is ridiculous. But yeah, I'm with you. The spread of this game was 2.5 for Hodge. I'm with you. I think ZB's team. I'm going Kyler. You went This is you giving him Jaden Daniels. I think Kyler Murray outscores Jaden Daniels. I think Jaden Daniels gets kind of dominated tonight in the that Packers game. Commanders' offensive line was really rough last week, and that was one of the things they were kind of nervous about. I know they figured out the left tackle spot, so they think they do. But the rest of the offensive line is pretty shitty. Josh Connolly, the rookie at right tackle, was getting kind of dominated by Brian Burns last week. I'm sure Parsons watched that tape. Just line him up on that guy and just have him kind of do his thing. And the way they were just getting after teeing off of Jared Goff last week, I think you're in line for a kind of a blowout kind of game tonight. So I think Kyler Murray has a better game than Jaden Daniels. And outside of that, Hampton didn't really impress me. Cooper Kupp's a blank space, honestly. I'm really happy. If I'm playing Hodge and I see that he has him in his lineup, I'm happy. It automatically gives me hope. So yeah, I think ZB comes out of here with a kind of not a blowout, but a nice win. I'm gonna go 132 to 124. ZB.
Let's go ZB.
ZB, yeah. So that's our second it's our second unanimous one. Our first one was Tasia. So far we've only split on Jack and Dave.
Mm.
All right, so our next matchup here. Okay, you gotta go 2 for here. This is me and Z Tizzle. The line for this game is ZT is a 14.5-point favorite over me.
Wow.
Biggest spread of the week.
Man.
2 weeks in a row, the odds makers are really going against me.
Yeah. And CT's been he's been chirping a little bit in the chat. We love to see it.
More than usual for him.
We'd love to also see a name change, a logo change. But again, I guess he can only focus on a few things at once. But going into the matchup, Lamar versus Mahomes. I'm not going to pick many QBs over Lamar, so give me Lamar there. I'm really excited for that game though. Mahomes versus Philly, or Chiefs versus Philly, just to see, how your offense looks. We'll see if Worthy suits up, but I like Thornton a lot, so I'd be key to see him get some more targets out of there. But Lamar against Cleveland, I know they just kind of made Burrow run around a little bit. He had an off week, but I kind of credit that more to the Browns or Bengals always having a slow start. So give me Lamar there. Ridley versus McMillan. Yeah, I mean, it's really unfortunate for Cam Ward because going against the Broncos defense and now going against the Rams defense, that's a welcome to the NFL start, and that's gonna be rough to go with. And I don't think, Ridley had 5 or 8 targets. These are both just gonna be, who has I don't think either of these guys are gonna have a giant game. It's just more of they're both going to be the main targets on their team. I think I'm going to lean McMillan here though, just against Arizona. Gibbs versus Irving. Ooh, man. I mean, Bucky had a decent week 1, right? Yeah, he was decent.
Well,
touchdown.
It was only because of that touchdown catch. I mean, look at his yards. Look at his carries and yards is pretty bad.
Yeah. Talking about Gibbs had such a weak week 1. But PPR is makes it 14, but he had 10 receptions and only 31 yards, 19 rushes and 19 yards. And that's just, again, I think he's got better days ahead, but that was just abysmal to watch. Granted, the Houston game last week was rough. I'm going to go Bucky here just because he has that backfield. The Lions didn't look inspiring at all. And again, against Chicago, who just got smacked in the second half by McCarthy and the Vikings, the Gibbs could eat. But I'm gonna go Bucky here. Strange versus Faven. Key plugging in that $91 man immediately. ZT was big on Strange, and then the backup tight end got the touchdown for Jacksonville last week, and he was still backing Strange. Jacksonville. I think Trevor Lawrence, he was a guy that I had so much faith in. I've completely lost it. I don't really think much of him. I'm going to keep riding the Fannin train. I want to see him do some more. I know Baltimore's going to be a little rough, but I want to believe. I want to have a reason to watch him. So give me Fannin. It could be just a fun utility player that you have as a tight end, especially if they give him more fullback lines as well. Waddle versus St. Brown. Give me St. Brown. Again, Dolphins offense just uninspiring. Jaylen Warren, another guy that kind of saved his week with a touchdown, looked pretty weak outside of that. Give me Wandale there just because of the targets and the receptions. And then Mooney against Adunze. Would have loved Mooney if Drake was going to be gone. What did Rome do? Yeah, okay. And he had the touchdown. I'm gonna lean Rome there, especially because Drake London's playing this week for Atlanta. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's pretty close. I think it's closer than you're getting the respect for it. It's kind of like how Alex, let his guard down. What a way to start the season it would be if you could top Alex and ZT as underdogs. I hope it happens, but I'm gonna give the edge to ZT in this one. I'm gonna go 1. kind of like where it's at now. I'll do 125 to 118.
Okay. All right. So you have me covering the spread, but you have ZT winning the game.
Yep.
Yeah. So I disagree on the Lamar versus Mahomes. It's not because of the Mahomes factor, and I do think Mahomes will have a good game just because he got his ass beat by the same team, and he's a very petty guy. I will say Cleveland, man. Cleveland historically does a really good job against Lamar, and then that defense, what they did, I know Cincinnati's got a horrible offensive line and they start slow, but they had like 6 or 7 sacks against Burrow last week. Lamar didn't run at all in that last 2 drives of the game because he had some kind of was it a calf issue or is he cramping? I forget what it was. But if that continues into this game, you got Myles Garrett coming to get you. I don't know, man. That's gonna be an ugly game. But yeah, everything else, I think Tet and Ridley's pretty, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, I even think Bucky and Gibbs is a toss-up as well. Fan and Strange, another toss-up. Waddle, St. Brown, no, not a toss-up. Even Wandale, I know you gave me Wandelay, but I don't know if Wandelay and Jalen Warren, that based on target share, yeah, I mean, the guy's a PPR monster. But yeah, it's pretty much split. I don't know why the odds makers had me being more than a 2 touchdown underdog. I don't get it. They had me 10.5 point underdog last week. But I will say the one thing to look at in our matchup is so ZT pretty much his entire team will be done by after the 1 o'clock games. Everybody besides Tet McMillan will be done, and then Benito at the 4 o'clocks. I will have Mahomes after the 1 o'clocks. I'll have Mahomes, Bucky, Darnell Mooney, Fairbairn. I'll have 4 pretty decent guys coming in to do the 4 o'clock and the Monday night rally. So if ZT can't get this big lead after the 1 o'clocks, we'll know real fast if I won that game or not. And you'll see how talkative I am in that chat after the 1 o'clocks based on how big of a lead ZT has. But I will say this. I think ZT does win. I think it's closer. I think ZT wins 134 to 121. So I slightly get under the spread for the week. But yeah, ZT wins in this one.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm being honest this year, guys. I picked against me last week. I somehow won in a very ugly game, and I picked it against myself again. I know, my team right now doesn't look like a heavyweight. This looks like a team has a lot of injuries and has a lot of bye weeks, and we're only in week 2. So I mean, this is not a team that's going anywhere anytime soon. So ZT for that one. All right, our next one. Ooh, I got my guy Cobb. I got Cobb versus Stu, the battle of the roommates. Uh-oh.
Ooh,
battle of the roommates. Ooh, and a name change too. Uh-oh. Oh, so look at that. So Cobb is gone. What was your team name last year?
It was the Iowa Boomerangs.
The Iowa Boomerang. Wow.
Could have kept it for could have done Michigan Boomerangs, just the Boomerangs. Stu loves going back to wherever he was.
But March of the ZTs, can you explain March of the ZTs for me? I don't think I get that one.
Yeah. There's a great video or something going around of ZT in a penguin outfit. I had something else in mind of the team name, and that's kind of why I didn't change it last week. It kind of caught me by surprise. It was one of those light bulb moments. I see this gif of a dancing ZT just happy in a penguin outfit. Immediately was like, what can I think of penguin wise? March of the Penguins, March of the ZTs. Yeah, and figured that it was time to do the name change and go back to doing the Tizzle. All fun and games, of course. He's still in my Cobb era, and I figured I'd go back as ZT. And it's just a fun team name. It's a fun graphic, fun video, fun everything. That's kind of what I want the season to be about. So
I'm trying to see if we have that image on file here. I think we do actually. Let's see here. Yeah, that's what you're talking about. Okay.
That actually is what I'm talking about. Yeah, it's just fantastic. Loving life.
He's loving life.
After you see Kale God switch up the character a little bit into the penguin guy. But love it.
That's good. I love a teammate. March the ZTs. I mean, hey, March the ZTs already 1-0. It's pretty good.
One of those names, 6 years from now, we're gonna be like March of the ZT. What was that about again? We'll be like, oh yeah.
And it wasn't AI. It was 100% real. That's legit, guys.
Yeah, it is.
All right, so talk to us about this matchup this week.
It's you.
Oh yeah, it's me. Sorry. I want to give Florida to really talk about March of the ZTs. So, all right, we got Bo Nix versus Joe Burrow. Again, I told you guys all, if you guys listen to my spiels, my preseason spiels, Bo Nix is one of the guys I was very anti, and it's not because he's a Bronco. I didn't think second year Bo Nix was going to be key, and we kind of coined the name Bo Picks on the group chat this past week. What 2 picks, 1 fumble. It was an awful game for him. And again, we don't know if Tennessee's defense is that good, but I'm willing to bet that Tennessee's defense is not that good. I just think Bo Nix sucks. And Joe Burrow against Jacksonville. He had a rough week last week against Cleveland. I mean, it doesn't even matter even if he has a rough week. I think Bo Nix is a big time sophomore slump candidate. And I'm going to go Joe Burrow. I think Stu's going to look back on this season, that draft day trade, getting rid of Jay Daniels. That's going to come back to haunt them, I think, big time. I'm not a Bo Nix guy at all. And last week pretty much showed why it wasn't. So, and also, too, that there was a 4th down play at the end of the game where that was a terrible call, but he just throws it to Marvin Mims. Courtland Sutton's wide open. I mean, that would have saved his fantasy day. I don't know if he would have won last week with that, but still, Bo Nix sucks. And I'm a Joe Burrow guy. So that one goes to Cobb. Ladd McConkey versus Malik Neighbors. Look, I think Malik Neighbors is solid. I think Ladd McConkey is solid. And we talked about, Wan'Dale earlier, right? Wan'Dale's got that floor. He's at the PPR machine. Ladd McConkey is a PPR machine and then some. Malik Neighbors is a head case. I mean, he was arguing with his coach all throughout the game, and he made some comment today saying, "Oh, I wasn't mad at coach. It's my resting bitch face." No, dude, you were having spat with your coach. And it's only going to get worse because Russ looks awful. The offensive line for the Giants looks terrible. I'm going to go Ladd McConkey. I think there's a safer floor there, and I think the ceilings are very similar between Neighbors and McConkey. So for that, I'm going Ladd McConkey. Next up, we got Kyron Williams and Bijan Robinson. Give me Kyron Williams. Obviously he'll get you a touchdown. That goes without saying. Bijan started off the game awesome, and then what happened? I mean, I don't even know what happened last week. He hit with 21. Oh, it was all catches. Okay, that's why. Yeah. I mean, and I think that'll happen again. The Minnesota actually had a great game plan against Chicago, but Swift actually had a really good game out of the backfield. So if Bijan keeps getting fed that way, you might see this be more of a push. But I'm going to go Kyron just because I know he'll have a solid game on the ground. Tennessee passing game looked good last week, but they couldn't stop R.J. Harvey, nor could they stop J.K. Dobbins. So I'm going to go for Kyron Williams with that. So now we got Chig Okonkwo, who I just gave to Stu, essentially just traded Stu Chig Okonkwo for a 7th round conditional pick. And then TJ Hawkinson, who at the draft, if you heard me, I dogged this pick relentlessly. 4 last week. Jesus. I think that's what Okonkwo had last week. Yeah. Okonkwo actually outscored him. Even more of a reason why, that Cobb shouldn't draft this guy in the 4th round. I'm really surprised he's going with TJ Hawkinson based on what we saw from the tight end from the Colts. Who dominated last week, Tyler Warren, who I thought was man, that's the guy you got to go with. And I don't know if he's injured this week at all, but you need to go with Tyler Warren because Tyler Warren was phenomenal. Daniel Jones loved throwing to him last week. I mean, he was throwing to everybody really, but I think Tyler Warren's the guy you go to and you set and forget it. Chig Okonkwo, solid pickup for being in the situation that you're in, but drafting George Kittle as early as he did during this past draft. I mean, Stu could have a really key team here, but he really fucked up. And I feel bad for the kid. But I'm gonna go TJ Hawk. I'm gonna go Tyler Warren. If he does go with Tyler Warren, if he doesn't go with him, it's a wash. But if he does go with Tyler Warren, I'm gonna go Tyler Warren. You want to care to clarify that? Or what are you doing at tight end?
Yeah, he's one of the guys that I'm was probably gonna switch in, and I think my last flex I might I have Jordan Mason in now. I've been playing around with putting Pollard back in there as well, but the Warren thing I'm definitely just gonna say fuck it and do. I was already planning on that. I kind of wanted to surprise Stu with it though.
Okay, that's cute. I mean, I think he watches the show, so I think he'll be surprised on the show. He might actually be mad that I'm saying that I'm going with Tyler Warren, even though you don't even have him in your lineup.
Dude, you told Cobb to fucking do it.
Scary Terry versus Breece Hall. I'm going to go Breece Hall. I was among the people who thought Braylon Allen was going to take that job this year, or not take the job, or at least be more of 50-50. It wasn't 50-50. It was pretty much all Breece Hall besides that one goal line touchdown that he hawked away from Breece Hall. But Breece Hall looked great. And They're going to ride him. And again, Buffalo's front defense looks so bad last week. So I see a nice Breece Hall game coming. Scary Terry, he's had some really good career games against Green Bay, but I think Green Bay is going to kind of to stymie their offense. So I'm going to go Breece Hall here, volume, and just the way Buffalo looked last week. Garrett Wilson against DeAndre Swift. Give me Garrett Wilson. I think Chicago's going to come out and destroy Detroit. I think Detroit's going to destroy Chicago this week based on the way they got handled last week. I think they're going to come out and dominate them. So I don't really see DeAndre Swift doing much, maybe some checkdowns here and there. Garrett Wilson, everyone was talking about Fields, Garrett Wilson being like that connection, that Ohio State connection. And we saw that last week, and was like, okay, wow, and there's something to that whole training camp hoopla. I like Garrett Wilson this week. So Cobb's going to be watching this Buffalo Bills-Jets game. I don't know if he's going to get it over there in Italy, but he's going to be watching that game big time on Sunday. That's a game to watch for Cobb. Garrett Wilson there. Jacoby Myers dominated, steal the draft pick for Stu. I'm really upset that they didn't even get to my pick. There was like 2 picks before me, and he drafted Jacoby Myers. I don't know why you guys let him last that long. He was solid. He's the wide receiver 1 over there. Jordan Mason was the more impressive back over Aaron Jones. But for me, I'm going to go Jacoby Myers there because he's the wide receiver 1, and they're throwing the ball a good amount. And I'm going to go Jacoby Myers just because Jordan Mason still, while he's the more impressive back, he's still in a timeshare with Aaron Jones. So I'm going to go Jacoby Myers in this matchup. With that being said, I think Cobb wins this one pretty handily. And the line for this game is Stu +3. So Cobb is a -3 favorite. He's a 3-point favorite. So I'm going to go Cobb in this one. Let's say what do they have here? They have 121. I think it's a big blowout, man. I think Cobb's vying for a high point of the week. I'm going to go Cobb 145 to Stu's 119. Stu's going to get blown out big time here. I don't really agree with the odds makers on the 3-point spread.
Man, I don't agree with the odds maker, but I don't agree with the 145 to 119 after my team last week. I mean, I think it was I benched Garrett Wilson. Obviously I had Hawkinson over Warren, and Burrow had a slow week. So I think it's time. It's but I don't want to get caught in the trap of doing what I did last year, being like, slow week. It's going to bounce back. So I'm definitely, Stu has enough names on his squad to make me a little worried, but I think I'm so confident in my guys. I want to start this year 2-0. I don't want to come back from the trip like 1-3 or 1-2. That would be terrible. And I'm hoping I think it's like a 7-hour time difference, which blows. So the 1 o'clocks are like the night games.
It's kind of key.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be listening to it. I'll go to bed and stuff, which would be fantastic. Or watching when I wake up in the morning too. I have myself one in here. I'm gonna do a modest 127 to 118. Again, I think Stu has some guys. Is Bo Nick's gonna get right? His neighbor's gonna get right. It also, like, kind of back to the draft day trade. He traded Jaden Daniels for Kittle, who's now out, and Neighbors after that start is not great. Granted, he does have a first next year, so we can't fully decide, but it's gonna be really interesting to track that trade as the season goes on.
I didn't even realize Kittle was a part of that trade. It's terrible. I mean, Again, that's like you essentially traded Jaden Daniels for and I know he's saying, well, it's a future first round pick too. Dude, come on. You're not trying to go back to back. And forget about going back to back. You have a quarterback in like the 8th, 9th round for a long time. And again, we're in a league with multiple Commanders fans. They would have probably Roden or ZT when ZT finally goes off Lamar, and maybe after this season if he doesn't win, because there's reports saying that he might actually go off Lamar if he doesn't win the championship this year. But if he does, he would go to you. Would probably give you a nice little handsome package for Jaden Daniels. But instead, you just trade him on draft day and you keep Bo Nix. It's not a lot. I know he won last year, but Stu maybe smelling his thinking his shit doesn't stink, and I'm not really a big fan of that, honestly. So again, that's another one where you and I both pick the same person. So there you go. Not a lot of differential picks this week. All right, finish this off here. Alex versus Yags, my man.
Ooh. This is gonna be a key one as far as tomato rankings go after this week, because both had disappointing starts. Unfortunately, like Yags again was, I think, top half in scoring. Like, he had a okay week. He won against CB, who had a better week. He was middle of the road, and Alex, what a bad way to start the season. We were talking about it on the show, and it was like, if Alex loses this one, he's already going to be panicking. And I think we've seen it. Purdy. Did he draft Purdy above Herbert? Is that yeah? So
Yeah.
he's out for a few weeks, and now he's hoping that Herbert and the Chargers are going to continue to be a pass first offense, which we've been watching Harbaugh for how long, and it's not his thing. I don't know how long that's going to last, but Jordan Love going against Herbert. I was actually surprised. Like Herbert, Jordan Love has so many guys to throw to. That offense is so much talent. I think he's gonna need to throw more than he did in Detroit. I was actually only had 22 pass attempts against Detroit. It's just Detroit was not clicking. I think Washington's gonna be a lot more competitive. Really excited for that game tonight versus Herbert. I'm gonna go Jordan Love here. I think it's gonna be just fun game. I think Jordan Love is gonna. I have faith that I think the Packers are gonna show that they're the team to beat in the NFC. I know the Eagles, they just won, but like the upcoming Packers with all that talent, I think they're gonna do it. And I think against the Raiders, I think that Chargers can just run it if they need to. I think they might try to switch up the script there. So give me Love. It is close though. Nico Collins versus Justin Jefferson. I mean, so many people are hopping off the Nico train. I get it. CJ Stroud and the Texans look lost, and I would be very scared if I were Alex. It was a very important keeper for him. I think he traded a good bit for him. Justin Jefferson, I was just equally as scared of until that second half happened. McCarthy got it together. It was great to see. So I think he's going to be just fine. Give me Justin Jefferson over Nico. I'm really worried about Nico going forward. I have him in Dynasty, and I'm like, looking over the shoulder, see what other options I got, just in case he has another down week and Stroud just does not look like the guy that we thought he was. Jacobs against Barkley. Again, it's big Thursday night for Yags. Give me Saquon. I think it's again not a lot of running backs I'm going to choose over Saquon. I know Jacobs looks pretty good. I'm surprised he only got a 13 last week. I thought he would have had more. I guess 66 yards. But yeah, give me Saquon. I don't know why Jacobs is projected for an 18. I feel like they got the projections flipped there. But I think that'll be a good one for Jacobs. But I'm not going to pick against Barkley. Hunter Henry against Laporta. Henry was, I think I was telling Alex when he drafted him, I thought that was a good pick just because, like, regardless of how the Patriots offense shapes out, I think Henry is going to be a consistent guy in a PPR like starter through and through. That's all you really need is like 7 or 8 from a tight end. You're good with that. And that's exactly what Hunter Henry is. Laporta, guy I could have kept. Kind of frustrating to see him. Like the Lions looked trash. The offense are like just off, and he still had a pretty good game for a tight end. But I don't know. Last season was such a down year that I'm really interested to see if that continues. I think it's really going to be more of an ASB and Gibbs game against Chicago. So I'm going to lean Hunter Henry just because I think Drake May needs to go back to just check downs, go to his guys, him and Booty. Metcalf versus Jonathan Taylor. Man, I mean, I was really surprised with Rodgers. I mean, I'm going to go Jonathan Taylor, but I was that
really against Denver's defense.
I mean, the Colts look good too. Like it's one of those things. Like we'll find out a lot during this game where the Colts legit week 1 was Denver's defense legit week 1. I mean, I think Denver's defense is legit, but it's just also a safer option versus an Aaron Rodgers who just had like what I think is probably an anomaly game for this year.
DK revenge game
could be. I mean, I like the headlines of where you're going, but Rodgers had a great game and he still only got a 9. And like I think he's going to get hyper targeted. But I don't know. I'm just safer bet Jonathan Taylor. DJ Moore against Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm going to go Marvin Harrison Jr. I think Caleb looked pretty bad. He missed DJ Moore. DJ Moore could have had a key week if Caleb Williams could actually hit someone. So I'm gonna go Marvin Harrison against Carolina. Carolina again looks pretty bad. Marvin Harrison Jr. I don't think he's going to be that like stud. I mean, we'll see. I'm leaning against him being that stud that I initially thought he was last year and drafted. A lot of people are thinking that he's just a guy. Like he's a good receiver, but he's not like generational like a lot of people are touting he would be. But against Carolina, I like it there. Javonte Williams against Pearsall. I mean, I think I'm going to go Pearsall. Mac Jones, I know, not great, but I mean, he was fine in Jacksonville last year. Brian Thomas Jr. was serviceable. No Kittle. I think he's going to it's going to be a Pearsall CMC show. And I think, again, in the PPR league, you're going to want that. And Javonte Williams had he had a good week, but again, 2 touchdowns kind of squares it away, or kind of helped with that. And I think Dallas is going to be able to throw all over the Giants. So, yeah, give me Pearsall. And with that, I'm going to go Yags in this matchup.
Wow.
I think Alex is going to be a surprising 0-2 start. I think there's enough question marks there that kind of scare me a little bit with this team. Yags, again, we're going to know, I think, by the end of tonight, where this game is headed. Yags, I'm going to have winning, let's say let's go 124 to 111.
Yeah, the line for this game is Alex minus 4.5 point favorite. So even though Alex lost last week, and even though he had 91, they still the odds makers have him as a 4.5 point favorite. So they're big fans of his team for some reason. I don't know. It's just a lot of names for me. You said 124 to 111 Yags.
Yep.
Okay, so all right, so let's make it simple. Love, Herbert, I'm going Love. Jefferson, Nico, going Jefferson. Jacobs, Barkley, I'm going Jacobs. Laporta, Henry, Wash. Jonathan Taylor, DK Metcalf, I'm going DK Metcalf. Revenge game. I think that this week Rodgers has something to prove. He wants to fucking just throw the ball, and he's going to make sure that Metcalf gets his targets against his old team. And I think that's Rodgers is a petty guy. DK Metcalf wants to dominate against his old team. Rodgers wants it for him, the pettiness factor. So I think he's going to give him the ball a lot. Jonathan Taylor's going to get stymied against this Denver team. You know what? Jonathan Taylor, there's a point in that game where I thought he got hurt. We didn't see him for 2 drives.
Yeah.
And Yaglu texted me, hey, man, DJ Giddens, is he the guy or what? And I'm like, I mean, his numbers don't suggest that he is. But when Jonathan Taylor goes down, you got the guy. And that was really confusing to me. DJ Moore doesn't look like the guy over there. He looks like pissed off that about the whole offense over there. And again, it'll take time. It's new offense coordinator. But again, it looks like Rome is more of Caleb's guy. And then Marvin Harrison had a great week 1. I'm sure you saw that. You're like, damn, he actually looked pretty good comparatively to last year in his week 1 performance. And then Javonte, Ricky Pearsall. Javonte looked good in the opening night game. Man, they want to throw the ball in Dallas. Pearsall is the only option they have over there. And I think just based on that, I think Pearsall's going to get a lot of quick screens. He caught a bomb last week. I mean, Pearsall, I kind of dogged Yags for keeping him. I like Pearsall. I don't know why the odds makers have Yags as a dog. I don't know why Yahoo has Yags as a dog, but nonetheless, I have Yags just like you. I have Yags winning this game in an ugly 107 to 101 game. Alex will not score above 105 this week.
Jugs.
I know. I think, yeah, based on our projections, I think that means Chugs for him again. 2 weeks in a row of a Chug. And I'll say this too. I kind of mentioned on the chat earlier. Quarterfinals Merchant. He was trying to make fun of himself, right? I think he kind of reverse jinxed himself to not even get into the playoffs this year. I think I think he played himself with that whole thing.
Really tragic.
It's very sad. I mean, I hate to see it, but that is what it is, man. I mean, hey, yeah, Yags covers. So based on the lines we have here, so you and I taking Tasia. I took Jack. You took Roden. We both took ZB over Hotch. We both took ZT over me. We both took you over Stu, and we both took Yags over Alex. So we only differed on 1 this week. Jack and Dave. Wow. That's the only one we differed. So
tiebreaker.
Hey, man. Like it. Yeah, I like that. All right, so now we're going to go to our Tomato King rankings, where we will end the show with our bottom 6 in the league. And with that, we're going to go to our the Tomato King Club intro. Play that music, baby. Are you going to fix your camera? Because it's still black over here.
What the hell? Yeah,
I checked on YouTube, but it's still black. It just shows me talking to a black square.
On my side. All right. Maybe I'll quit and rejoin.
Okay, I'm gonna go to Tomato King intro here.
I'm gonna keep on winning, so I won't be in the tomato club. Don't wanna wear that crown and get pelted with that farmer's love. Back to back like Cobb. Oh no, back to back like Cobb. Oh no, now that just ain't my fate. I'm gonna keep on winning, so I won't be in the tomato club. I'll dodge those red tomatoes if I just keep my place. When the final week comes and the shame bells ring, back to back like Cobb. Oh no, back to back like Cobb. Oh no, now that just ain't my fate. I'm gonna keep on winning, so I won't be in the tomato club. Tomato club.
All right, you're back. I can see you again.
All right. Weird.
All right, so with that, we're gonna start with our number 7 and work our way down. So our number 7. So I'll start with my number 7. My number 7 is a guy I had as my Tomato King last week, and that was yours truly. This guy, there's something about championship pedigree. There's something about a team that's just always living in the playoffs, always getting to the semifinals game. And that's since Mahomes has been my quarterback, that's been the guy. I've been in the semifinals game. Just like Mahomes always goes to the AFC Championship game at the very least. Since I've had Mahomes, I get to the semifinals at the very least. And we saw last week, scrapped and clawed to get that dub. And we did. We really did. We took our kicker to have a good game, took our DB to have a good game. But this is a team that doesn't look like a scary team. Based on my championship pedigree, I think I can make the playoffs. That's why I'm a 7 spot. But based on what I'm seeing right now, not a really sexy team. Yeah, we're relying on guys like Wanderlei Robinson. And, you know, I don't know. It's not sexy. Darnell Mooney, until Worthy comes back, this team is going to be vying for a playoff spot. So we're not in the playoffs right now. We're in the Tomato Club, not at the bottom of the Tomato Club, but we're in the Tomato Club for sure.
I like it. Yeah, you got to have the confidence. And again, the pedigree goes a long way. I mean, you see, like, you take advantage of when teams let their guard down because you've been there, you've done it. You did quarterfinals, Merchant, not a lot of experience, you know, literally in the name. So with my 7 spot, this was tough. I'm back to having a pool of teams that I think are really close. And I've been juggling between these 2 guys at 7, one in the playoffs, one not. But I'm gonna go Hotch. I don't think he was in my rankings last week, and it's one of those things where, you know, hopefully that trade with we were dog and stew for the Jaden Daniels trade, but you know, hopefully he can get up to. We'll see what he does against Green Bay. I'm a little worried about him too tonight. Devonta Smith, not my favorite starter. Hampton, again, we'll see what the Chargers offense looks like. I think he looks good, but if they completely go to like an air offense, like that pick goes away and like it's not what you thought. Obviously, Bowers, Chase, Lamb, great. The Cup, like, not great. There's really like high peaks and really low floors for a lot of these. Just his lineup. I know he has Judkins waiting. Maybe, you know, he'll be taking over the lead back duties of Cleveland. Johnson, like, he could be a great starter going forward if he continues. It's to be seen. We've seen at least a year and a half of him sucking, and now we've seen a couple games of him doing pretty well. So we'll see if that continues. But a lot of mouths to feed over in LA. So give me a Hotch at 7.
Not bad. I'll get to Hotch later. I'm not really a big fan of what I'm seeing from that team. But 7, you know, that I think that's where you're going with the championship pedigree. I think that kind of boosts his value a little bit. So I respect that. It's a good reason. I'm I got Adam here, my 8th spot. Prison Pablo, I think he's going to be stuck in the penitentiary this whole season. I'm just not buying it, man. Dak, yes, if CeeDee Lamb didn't drop 1 million passes last week, Dak probably could have had a huge game last week. Drake London, Penix, I mean, I think Penix is a solid quarterback. I don't know. I need to see a little bit more of the Penix and Drake London pairing. Jetty, not loving what I've seen so far. Going back to preseason, I didn't like it. Going to what I saw last week, I didn't like it. The Raiders' run offense is not good. That offensive line is not good. And if you're relying on Jetty to be a guy, you're going to need that O-line to step up, and that's the O-line. Chase Brown got rocked last week. And if that guy's going to get the amount of touches he's going to get, that's scary, man, because I don't know if Chase Brown can hold up a whole season. And I don't think Jetty can hold up a whole season either. You're not playing the Mountain West anymore. You're not playing against guys who majored in finance anymore. You're playing against dudes. And I don't think Jetty's playing style is going to hold up. I don't think Chase Brown's going to hold up this year. I think 2 years in a row of getting the usage that he's gotten, I don't know. I just don't see it. RJ Harvey relying on a guy who's who's the 1B to J.K. Dobbins. AJ Brown's not getting targets. People are talking about him potentially being a trade candidate, in-season trade candidate on the Eagles. So that right there throws me off right away. Forget about that one catch last week, but we're talking about a guy who is a potential trade candidate. That to me is like you're relying on a lot of what ifs and unknowns, and that to me smells of you're going to be in the basement this whole season. He's definitely not. He's got too much talent to be a tomato king, but he's in a tomato club. For sure he's in a red tomato club, but he's not a tomato king. So that's why I've had him at 8.
Yeah, all fair reasons. 8 is, again, one that I don't want to be here. And for whatever reason, the way my rankings keep working out, they keep ending in this spot. And good for them that they keep defying the odds. I'm going to ZB. He had a great week 1, but I'm looking at a lineup of a lot of guys that I just don't really have that much faith in season long. Again, if we were going off of 1 week, sure, we would change it. I like JSN a lot. James Cook should be great. Zay Flowers, I've had him for a while in a lot of leagues, and I feel like that might be like top of his game that we just saw. Like Devonta Adams, I'm not biggest on. And Njoku, he could not be the guy. Kamara, what are the Saints offense going to look like? And if he doesn't get a touchdown, and Kyler Murray's just, maybe have PTSD with that. Again, it's he's been there, giving him the pedigree bump as well. But I'm going to unfortunately have him at 8.
Sorry, Savannah's. So ZB, I mean, yeah, there's going to come a time of point here where we're going to look and say, is Kyle somebody against ZB? Well, let's calm down against ZB. Every week you have this guy here at the bottom. I know you don't want to. I know you love the guy, but yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, there's all rational reasons. And for me, it was like, I didn't have ZB in here last week, and yeah, you had him as your Tomato King last week. So it makes sense as to why you keep him in the top 5. You got to keep the Tomato King in the top 6, or the bottom 6 at least. So that's fair. You got to do a little bit more to get out of there. Big week though. You have your 7 and 8 spots playing against each other this week. So a big week for both those guys.
Yeah.
So my number 9 is a guy I don't want to have here, but he's in the same exact spot as he was last year. I need him to show me something. Same spot that I had him in last week, at the number 9 spot. He didn't move up, didn't move down, but he lost. So what can I do with that? It's my guy Yags. I don't want to have him here, but I have to. Let me just take a deep dive into why I have him in this spot. Because right now, I mean, top to bottom is a solid team, right? Good names, though. But when we did the projection here, we had him winning. But we also talked about some of the spots that were like kind of questionable. And the spots that are questionable for me, DJ Moore. I mean, that situation is toxic. He doesn't look like he's having fun there at all. For me, I'm like, you got guys. But this week may not be the best for him. But I mean, his bench is solid. So he's got when after this week, when the Colts aren't playing the Broncos, he's got a shot to put MPJ in there over Pearsall, over DJ Moore if need be. But there's just something about his team that I need to see more out of him. And it's, I thought his draft this year was really good. Top to bottom, I thought he had an amazing draft. It's just that there's not a lot of home run hitters on his squad besides Justin Jefferson. Jacobs is solid, but it's too reliant on that Packers team. And I think before, when you have the quarterback and the running back of that one team, you're always losing points. Each drive, you're losing points. You know, Jacobs getting a touchdown, you're guaranteed points, but each drive you're losing points because either one's throwing it or one's rushing it. So you're not getting the 6 there. You're not making the most out of your 6 points there. So I have Yags here. I could easily have him in my top 6 next week. I just want to see him do it this week. And big spot for him to come up and do what he's got to do against who's he playing here? He's playing Hodge. No, he's playing Alex. And we both think he's going to win this matchup this week. So big week for Yags to really step up his game. So I'm in my 9th spot. Who's your 9th spot?
Yeah, and just a quick comment on the Yags. I agree. He was the guy that was. I think he would have been in my 6th spot. The 6, 7, 8. I kind of had right there. But I didn't need Yags heat like I did last year when this started. So I kind of gave him the benefit of the doubt. My 9th spot is going to be Adam. You had him a little higher than I did. Again, same issues. Drake London should be great. Dak should get it together, and I think he's going to be a great QB, especially in a 6-point passing touchdown league. Genty, it's just, I don't know. Like, I had the same worries with you on him. Kelsey, I don't know if he's that guy anymore with the tight end. AJ Brown, same concerns. Harvey, same concerns. It's just like, and then the guys that you have to pivot to, like, I don't really have too much faith in. It's not a very, like, this team is going to score potentially 130 plus. It's like a very much like could be 95 and it could be 120. Like, it's not very scary. Could it change? He has a lot of young talent that could, flip a switch. It's just, we got to see it happen. And week 1 wasn't the most impressive or motivating week for that.
I agree, man. I have him slightly higher than you there. Wait. I have been 8, you have been 9. So really it's right around the same territory. My 10th spot, I could have gone 11. I could have gone 12 for this guy. So my 12 to 10, I have all kind of the same tier. And 10 is Stu. We're talking about a guy with Bo Nix, who I'm not a fan of, Chig Okonkwo. I mean, he's literally taken the quarterback and tight end spots and punted them. Right? I remember many years ago I did that, and he was very adamant against that. He said, you can't keep punting tight ends every year. You can't keep punting quarterbacks. Just gain depth. Well, look at you. We're at 2025, and he's become that guy that he hated. He became what he hated, and now he's in that spot right now. He tried to draft Kittle in round 2. He tried to not punt tight end, but dude, you're drafting an old tight end. I think it's over, man. I think the run that we had with Stu went 1 in 2014. We didn't see him again until 2025. Is that what it was? So I think it's there. It's here again. We're here. It's going to be 2 presidential cycles before we see Stu again in this spot, in a relevant spot again. So Stu, it was nice to see you, but you're in the Tomato Club big time.
Yeah. I'll get to him in a sec. But I agreed there. I think it's one of those things where, did the pressure get to him? Did he? There's been so much back-to-back happening in this league that Stu felt the need to be in that back-to-back group and might have overshot. So we'll see. My 10th spot is going to be my co-host here, Mr. Dash. It was one of the, I wanted to bump you up for the pedigree and almost bumped you up mid-show. I got you 1-0. That was great. Love to see it. I think you could upset ZT as well. I think this is the gritty fantasy football. That's the roster I'm looking at. It's like, you got to play your cards right every week. You're going to be looking for the guys that are not flashy, but they're PPR machines. And I think you could be on the precipice in the cusp of having such a team. We just need to see it if I see it this week, say goodbye to the Tomato Club. You'll be probably in the top 6. And I would love to see that. But at the moment, I want to see it again. I want to see it against a guy like ZT. You already smashed Alex. Let's see you do the same with ZT. And this could be the best defensive team in the league if last week repeats itself. So
I'm glad my championship pedigree, it was a compelling case for you. And I'll say this too. For ZT, I know he won last week, but for me to beat Alex, and that'd be ZT. The momentum I'll have of going against the two guys who have like I just dominated them mentally for the last like 5 years. To have that right out the gate, that mental that block, like the Mahomes over Josh Allen in the playoffs, kind of block on them throughout the whole season, just to start off that way. I mean, the schedule makers did me a justice here by giving me Alex and ZT. It could be really bad. I know there's a lot of fans saying, "Oh, you're going against Alex and ZT right away. You're going to go 0-2, and you're done. You can't go up from there at that point." But I did one. Now I'm going to come for the 2, and I think once I get the second one with ZT, I'm not going to get it because I picked against myself. But I think ZT. Getting that, I think it immediately puts me in the championship conversation, regardless of what my team looks like.
See it.
All right, so 11 here, like I said, 10 to 12 are in all the same category. My 11 spot, if you heard me talk earlier, you probably realize who it was going to be. It's not Alex. We got another spot for him. But it's Hotch, it's Matty Ice, which a lot of people are like, yeah, it's you're just so anti-Matt. Well, last week we saw what happens when those things don't click, right? Travis Hunter will look like a pedestrian IDP defensive back. He drafted him in round 2. Awful. Cooper Kupp, last flex. Cooper Kupp might need to retire, honestly. And I think, in a way, I kind of retired Cooper Kupp when Alex started him against me in the playoffs and he had a 0. I think that was kind of the beginning of the end of Cooper Kupp. And there's no other guy he has on his team. So he has to roll with these guys every week because his bench – is maybe we're the worst bench in the league. And I know we just said we're relying on Quinn Johnson. He's relying. So we're going to say right now with a straight face, he's relying on a wide receiver 3 to be like his savior at the last flex spot. I mean, it's a joke. Quinn Johnson could easily go back to being a 2-point a game guy easily. And we wouldn't be surprised about it. So with that, with punting on your last flex and then punting on your entire bench, I think Hotch is in for a rough season, man. I really do think so.
Yeah, I think all of that's valid. I think he's one injury away from completely collapsing, I think, and that's scary. So, like, if that happens, I think he'll definitely be a front runner for that Tomato King. So I I agree. This is my 11th spot. It's a tough one. It's one of those decisions that you don't want to make, and you put yourself in a bad spot making it because we are in this position where we are in front of the league. We're putting ourselves out there. We're making predictions, and unfortunately, this prediction is also against an opponent I am playing this week. One of my best friends, a roommate for a few years, a guy that has named his team after me and just won the championship. Stu is my 11th spot. I have the same reasonings as Dash just mentioned. There's a lot of just question marks around this team, and it's just there are so many eggs put in the Bo Nix basket that if that does not pan out, this could be one of the biggest collapses that we have seen. And again, I do think that there was a lot of pressure on Stu to go back to back. I did it. Hotch did it twice. And then I also was back to back, Pancake King. Like there's a lot of back to backs that happen in this league. And Stu's like, I need to make that, that has to happen. That's just what happens in this league. And the trade with Hotch, again, he does have a first next year, but Kittle's in IR, ironic for his team name. And then Neighbors, like, we'll see if they keep pushing Russ out there. Like, you gotta take him out. Like, yeah, he's gonna be good for PPR, but you're really excited about a 12-point, 13-point every single week. Like, yeah, you'll take it, but when you took him in your first round, not really what you're looking for. You want that height that he can give you. Kyron, great. Again, hopefully he doesn't get hurt and phased out by the other running backs there. Okonkwo, yeah, it's just unfortunate with what happened to Kittle. Myers was a great snag. I agree. I was wondering why he was dropping as much as he did in the draft. Terry hopefully has a bounce back game tonight. Hopefully it's just because he wasn't around in the preseason. But with Debo dominating like he did, I'd be a little worried there. And then like his bench doesn't give me much faith. He has the two wrong Patriot receivers in Diggs and Douglas. Diggs didn't do shit. Demary Douglas, I had faith in, but it just seems like Booty is the guy. Like, he was awesome at LSU. He had those issues and failed in the drafts, and now it looks like he's continuing that pace. And big Booty guy. And Yeah, I don't know. Just like there's a lot of depth issues. I just think Stu put a lot of eggs in his basket with Bo Nix, and hopefully it does fix itself. Not this week because I'm playing him. And again, not a pick I want to do because I'm, he's a good friend. We root for each other, and I'm also putting myself out there to give him bulletin board material and reverse. Like he can do whatever he wants with this now. But again, it's the tough calls that we have to make as runners of this show. So.
Yeah, I didn't like doing it. I know I did him at 10. You had him at 11. I didn't like doing it either, but yeah, it's tough to see, and it's true. The to want to go back to back so badly, it's a big deal. I remember the following year after I won the championship, I was like, okay, is this going to be it? And now I got the semis, or I think I lost the championship actually. Roden had a shot to go back to back too. Yeah. Okay, so my final one, it's pretty obvious here where we're going here. It's a guy who he calls himself the quarterfinals merchant. We think we probably, and I think you're in agreement with me. I think he jinxed himself by even saying that. It's like, dude, like if you haven't gone past the quarterfinals, why would you even say that? Because now you're saying, oh, I'm a lock to get to the quarterfinals. Well, maybe you just played yourself. Maybe you're not a lock to get there anymore. And going 0-1, scoring a 90, whatever it was, like 91 last week, and then the lineup you're putting out there this week, you're already down a quarterback 2. You're putting a quarterback in there who's as a coach who likes to run the ball. And you're doing that week 2. Javonte Williams, you're starting a guy who maybe the RB2. I mean, it doesn't even matter what happens to Javonte Williams. He could go from RB1 to RB3 this week. It wouldn't be surprising. Oh, okay, he was one of those guys, right? So like not really sexy. Nico Collins is a product of bad offensive line play and a bad quarterback play. CJ Stroud looks awful. His offensive line looks awful, so he's not getting his targets. A lot of bad there, and like it just seems like there's not a lot of, I don't know, like I don't know what Alex did in the draft because yes, he had 3 great keepers, but Alex is one of these guys where you look back at the draft, like why did you keep a first round talent? Why did you do that? You could have kept somebody else, put that guy back in there, and had another gem fall to you, but he didn't do that. It just made no sense because you already didn't have a lot of draft picks in the middle of the draft. And we're seeing like he's a product of like if you may have good names, but if you aren't drafting properly, if you were punting on quarterback like he did, you're not going to go for him this league. I know people want to dog the quarterback, say, oh, you can get good quarterback play late in the draft. Really? Well, we saw Alex do that with Brock Purdy. He lost to a guy who kept 2 quarterbacks last week. That's what we're talking about right here. Alex had the first low score chug he set this week. I think he's going to get ready for a few more of those this year. I feel bad for the kid. I really do. I think I'm going to go over-under right now on Alex. I'll give you the over-under. 5.5 low score chugs for Alex. Over-under.
5.5. I'll go
He's already got 1. So now it's only 4.5.
I'll go under. Really. I mean, 4 more for the next 13 weeks. That's like 30% of the
I'm going over. I'm going
over.
All right. I thought you were going to go with me there.
You know what? I don't know what I'm talking about because I got to get to mine too. Let's go. Let's go over.
All right. So Alex, my Tomato King. Cobb, who is your Tomato King for this week?
Yeah, a little spoiler there. He's also mine, so I kind of had to go over. I think I'm in the same boat where, Stu put a lot of unnecessary pressure on himself to repeat and made some questionable decisions that, again, could change. We're only going into week 2. But Alex, same thing, unnecessary pressure with the quarterfinals merchant. Like, you have to get to the playoffs, and like when you get to the playoffs and you get bounced every single time, you don't get that pedigree bump of playoff experience. It's just like you're losing those. Does that really count? And I say no. But I'm in the same boat where it's just like, yeah, I mean, Saquon is Saquon, but is he going to be the Saquon of last year? Jonathan Taylor, week 1 already, I know he's off the injury report now, but he had the neck issues, and that's kind of bothersome. He's had injury issues before, and with Daniel Jones, like, are they going to try and limit how often they're leaning on him? Marvin Harrison Jr., another guy that, again, I hope he turns a corner and he has those like fair expectations going into this season, but the ceiling just doesn't really seem there for me. And it's just one of the issues because I'm also looking at like potential on his bench, and I don't see it. I see a bunch of old. I mean, Pickens could be good, but your wide receiver 2 is your potential on your bench. Addison, Najee is not going to be your potential guy. I mean, Thornton on the Raiders like passing game, like there's just the potential that is supposed to be on the bench. Like, oh, like maybe this guy pans out. It's all like older people and people we kind of already know where they are and who they are, and it just like the pivots just don't seem there, and I don't think the ceiling is there either. And I think that first loss to you is going to be a big mental game going forward for him. And he's got a tough matchup this week against Yags. So
not a good start for our quarterfinals merchant. I don't know what he's going to call himself next year, but he should call himself he should call himself the Tomato King merchant. So he's not. So he jinxes himself out of being that.
Tomato stand. Ooh,
tomatoes. That's kind of key. Oh, dude, throwing tomatoes at him would be hilarious. That's one of the guys, underrated guy that throws tomatoes. That was him. But all right, well, that does it for us, guys, on this week of the Cobb and Dash show. We will see Cobb in a few weeks, so Cobb won't be back. So week 3 preview he misses, week 4 preview he misses. He'll be back for the week 5 preview. So Cobb will pretty much be back halfway through the season. So see how much has changed in these 2 weeks while he's gone. Cobb, we hope you have a good time. Have a safe and enjoyable time in Italy. We'll see you on the other side, my man.
Looking forward to it.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys. Hope everyone has a good weekend, and we will be texting in the chat tonight. It's going to be off the hook tonight. Can't wait.
Oh, yeah. Can't miss it.
See you guys.